everyone to Grape Finance and Finium's AMA. It's by now far from weekly, but we're doing this still because we still want to update you, the community, on our goings on. And with me, as always, here is LB. Welcome, LB.
Thank you. Thanks for all your questions and joining in. And I will say though, right now we haven't had too much to update. So things have been, um, AMAs have been more lengthy between their times. But once we get rolling again with more updates as VDM progresses and Winemaker too, then we'll come back to more regular AMAs for sure.
Yeah, and about that, it might be good for the people to have a bit of a perspective on what's going on with you with the project, I think, because you told me while we were walking through Amsterdam what you were up to a little bit. Um, but I can imagine that the people who are here in the audience don't have such a clear picture
hmm
of where Grape Finance and Finium is going and what you're doing and what your vision is.
Yeah, definitely.
So maybe you could expand on that a little bit.
Well, I guess I'll say that the last few months I've been around a few different countries in Europe, visiting some conferences. We went to the ETH Amsterdam one, went to ETH Prague, BTC Prague 2, Avalanche Summit in Barcelona. And I visited some family and some friends in a few different places. This has been a little bit hectic to kind of focus down on things while that's happening, especially with spotty internet connections and whatnot. But we still have, and also mainly been kind of focusing more on the research side of things. Cute. But research of exactly how we're going to do, how we're going to do a tokenomics side of VDM specifically, and a migration between Grape, because we're no longer going to be a seniorage protocol, as we mentioned before. We're moving into, which was technically originally the plan since even March or April last year, where we would use the seniorage protocol as kind of a bootstrap to move into a DeFi, essentially a DeFi services product that is not just like a money printing machine. It actually provides a service that can last over time, can last many years, essentially as long as it uh, runs on the blockchain, as long as that blockchain exists, essentially. So, which is lending and borrowing, which I think is a core function of DeFi. It was one of the first things in DeFi too, along with exchanges. And so that's kind of where we've moved from Grape being a seniorage based protocol, where the goal was to integrate Grape into a lending protocol. And then so since then we've kind of rebranded it so that Vinium is a lending protocol, and it's under the Grape umbrella essentially. But we kind of want to migrate everything together, as in Grape with Vinium, um, to kind of consolidate things so that we don't have so many moving parts that overcomplicate things. And it's kind of been a feedback thing from even before, when we tried to release a lot of things that people are complicated with things. They only they only stick with the nodes, or they only stick with the seniorage or the game, which is fine. This is why we've also kind of decided to separate the two. We have a GameFi section and a DeFi section. And the DeFi section is obviously lending and borrowing. The GameFi section is winemaker based NFT, uh, you know, NFT staking, but also a real playable game as well, as is kind of the end goal there. Integrated with NFTs, obviously, but so in other words, what's been happening really is kind of I've been uh, distracted, essentially, kind of having to travel around. But I've made a lot of good contacts. Is the point there? I've made good contacts with some top L2 chains, like direct contacts. Obviously you can make these contacts anyway, just by reaching out on Discord or whatever. But it's always adds more rapport and credibility if you meet them in person, especially at a conference that's technically designed for that. You can kind of get the BD contact straight away and get in groups with them, and things can move at a better rate. Essentially, you get more, as I said, more credibility. So I made some good contacts with people that we can use, much so for Vinium and its goals of being a cross-chain lending protocol. Um, Essentially, the end goal there being cross-chain messaging, cross-chain health factor. Um, and So we made contact with Starknet there, uh, and Layer Zero. Starknet being one of the L2 chains, Layer Zero being cross-chain messaging protocol. The team at Mantle, which is another L2 up and coming. Obviously Arbitrum as well. Um, and Off the top of my head, we've and well, Scroll
It,
as well.
it's not like
Yeah, I mean there's a few, like
yeah,
basically. Yeah,
it's quite a lot all in all, actually.
yeah.
Um, as it sounds and what it feels like to me is that we've had a good run in the beginning, and then well, what we had kind of ground to a halt at some point, and then we took this time in between to just take a pause, look around, and see where we go from here. And I think that you've invested that time pretty admirably by traveling around the world, actually, to meet important people within, or important, maybe it sounds so posh, right? But
Yeah.
interesting contacts around the world for networks that actually matter and that could have very uh, well, very good places in our near future. And
Hmm.
that means sometimes it's good to have a pause and to not have an immediate idea of, yeah, now we're going there, now we're going to do that, now we're going to do that, but to
Hmm.
actually just, you know, let it rest for a little bit and then take a clear outlook and then go that way. Um,
Yeah.
so that's what it feels like to me, and that's what it seems that you've been doing, and I heartily support that.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, essentially, yes. Like
I
during the bull or the end of the bull, we acted kind of pretty fast. To be honest, we did a lot of different things in one go, quick. Some worked, some didn't work. But it meant like our focus was spread. And then starting the end of FTX crash and that sort of stuff, when the market really turned,
yeah.
it was kind of a good time to uh, take a breather and kind of figure out what we should do without rushing into anything.
Yeah, and talking about rushing into anything, I mean, it seems like the world is rushing places. CBDCs are taking a
Yeah.
sprint, and there's a lot that's changing, and it's pretty hard, I think, to find a sort of a status quo to build upon. I don't think it's going to be there.
Mm.
It seems that everything is changing so fast that it's more like you're standing on the side of the river and you're looking for an opportune moment to jump in and go with the rapids. Like it's not like a
There's no
calm
good
lake
time.
where
Yeah.
you start building. No, there's no real good time. It's just opportunity. Okay, we see opportunity, let's go. But the
Yeah.
thing about that is that you don't have time in the water to gather your bearings and
Hmm.
say, oh, okay, hey, I've created my boat and I'm gonna look at where I'm going. You need to know. As soon as
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
enter the water, as soon as you enter the game again, you need to have a plan. You need to know where you're going. You need to be able to act quickly. And I do feel I do feel it's good to, until that time, stand on the banks of the river a little bit more and just make that plan. Have a
Hmm.
good um, have a good creation of a plan.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm all for that. When you say you're back in Dubai, does it
Yes.
mean that you're staying there now? Is that
Yes,
the
yes.
idea?
So that's a good factor as
Excellent.
well. Now I'm back. I'm going to set things up here. It's technically I'm a
Mm.
resident here. So now I just need to essentially get a place and set up there,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm there's yeah, I'm not
How does that
going
work?
anywhere.
You're a resident, but you don't have a residence, or
I don't
how does
have
it work?
like I guess a rental you would say. So like I'm like in an Airbnb
Okay.
at this time because I just arrived, so I'm looking
Mm.
for places. But I should find sure I've seen a few already, so I should find one within the week really, and then be set up
Cool.
and essentially like full time again into it, which I'm really excited about to be honest, because traveling is good and all, but when you go
Yeah.
from country to country like week after week, it's kind of exhausting, especially if you kind of want to do stuff as well. You kind of get over it a little bit, to be honest. So I'm actually excited to get to be in one place and just be able to focus on
Get back to building.
yeah, exactly, exactly. So
That sounds good, man. It really does. And well, if anyone in the audience has some interesting places in Dubai for LB to stay, no, I'm joking. You find your way, I'm sure. Um, cool, really cool. The fact that you migrated to Dubai is a really big thing. Do you want to expand on why you've done that, or do you just leave it at that?
well, I will say, Australian. I don't like paying tax. Obviously, Australian tax department charges you 45%, uh, and in Dubai it's zero. Obviously, there's costs of living that are expensive, but in Sydney it's very expensive anyway. So that's kind of
Mm.
like, I guess, a main thing. But as well, Dubai's um, a
Bit of a
hub
crypto
for,
hub, isn't
yeah,
it?
exactly. It's a hub for crypto innovation, technology as well. There's a lot of crypto conferences
Yeah.
here all the time, and a lot of big names here. Bybits has a main office here. Binance has a main office here, um, and as well, it's also close to kind of the rest of the world. Essentially Europe as well. If because there's a lot of the other place as a hub
Yeah.
would be Europe, and obviously the US. Although the US is kind of a little bit dodgy with the SEC and the IRS kind of always cracking down on crypto. There's still a lot of innovation there. So the point is that Dubai is closer to those countries. Uh, Say if there's a nice conference or something to go to there, it can be done much easier than from Australia, which is like
Yeah,
traveling
yeah.
from outer
What
space.
what air service what air service is calling Dubai home? Is that Emirates or
Yeah,
is it
yeah,
another
yeah.
one?
Emirates, yeah,
Yeah, so that's a good one. You can get anywhere with that.
yeah, yeah. Exactly.
It's nice. But I do feel that your location is pretty important in itself,
Hmm.
because I don't know, getting halfway there in Dubai might be higher than being at the top 10% in Sydney. Um,
Hmm. Yeah,
if you catch my drift.
yeah,
There's so much going on there that even if you're not top dog, you're still going to be great, right?
yeah.
And that's not to say that you cannot be top dog, because I do feel that you have a lot of qualities, but
Thank
um,
you.
it's just a good place to be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I do feel that it's just a good place to be, and it's easy to get taken along for a run there. It's
Hmm.
easy to
Yeah.
meet people there who are interested in innovation and building something, and who are enthusiastic. It's just a
Hmm.
hub of innovation, as you say.
It is, yeah.
And I do feel that if you're there, and if that's your location, if that's your base, then whatever you're going to build is going to have that as a booster.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm actually really excited for you being there. It's great.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Um,
bonuses, so I
yeah,
just thought I should do
yeah,
it, and I just made the plunge, basically, like you are
yeah.
doing as well.
Connected ball. What?
Like
Yeah.
you're doing as well,
I'm
basically.
sorry. To have different ways of living, you mean?
No, to like
I'm
make
sorry.
make the decision to kind of like change your surroundings, basically.
Oh yes, absolutely. For those who are here who don't know, I'm starting a traveling lifestyle. I've given up my apartment in the Netherlands, and I'm actually sitting right now inside of the truck that
Oh,
is my
nice.
home. Uh, it's it's a beautiful place to be. It's nice, and this is not a small truck. Like I've got 16 square meters of living area besides the place where you steer the whole thing. So it's kind
Yeah,
of a
yeah,
big truck.
nice.
More, its empty weight is 6.5 tons. So
Yeah, wow. Okay,
I
that's
needed to
actually
have
big.
a special driver's license for it. Yeah. Cool. Well, Galactic Bull says, since you're a resident of Dubai, he wants to be adopted. When adoption, he says.
When
So
adoption.
if you need a
How old are
son,
you? Like, can I adopt?
if you need a son, then I don't know, man. There's someone for you here. Okay. We've got some questions. They're just two really, and one small one. One is a reflection on the previous AMA, and then a bit of a suggestion,
Mhm.
and the other one is kind of is a real question. I'm gonna start there. Actually, no, I'm gonna start with the second one. Like, any love for G bonds? Is this something that we still see coming up to the point where G bonds are going to be worth anything, or
Well,
are people who are into G bonds just, you know, that just sucks for you?
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
No,
Uh,
G bonds will be
what
like essentially like a grape. We do some migration. G bonds will be treated like a grape, essentially. Um, so
All right,
yeah.
that's pretty nice actually.
I mean, don't go and make G bonds
Yeah,
now, but like there's no point to it. But they are still technically grapes, so we will uh, account that into anything that happens with grape.
cool. Well, there's your answer. I think that's a very nice answer. So people who are into G bonds might not be able to move, but at least you've not lost.
Mm.
It's still great. Okay. Bobby one has a bit of a story. No, it's a small story. Let me read it. Greetings, LB. Do we have a clearer roadmap for winemaker and the consolidating slash migrating of grape ecosystem tokens? What is next to happen on your end, and what do we need to be on the lookout for? What voting strategy do you recommend for the community to implement to maximize our ecosystem? And have you considered partnering up with more AVEX NFT projects that are implementing a game system that winemaker could benefit from? I know something was happening with the World of Magic before. Where are we with that progress? And there's still a community here to support and build from. So let us know what's up. Um, Let me
Yeah.
first answer a little bit on the World of Magic. I have had a talk on their end, and it seems to be that they're not doing much lately, are they? Have you had talks with them?
No, not recently. I know
With
Owen
Owen?
uh, essentially took a break from DeFi, or is taking a break from DeFi. I don't know
Yeah,
indefinitely or not.
yeah.
But he's the was the main guy essentially that's kind of organized stuff there, and I know
Yeah, it
Jimmy
was
as
the
well.
driving force there.
Yeah, and Jimmy, the main dev, has been doing a lot of good work on Glacier, obviously. So I guess I'm not entirely sure what's been happening with World of Magic. Um, I'll have to have a chat with
With Owen, I guess.
yeah, I guess, yeah.
Or with Jimmy. Because Owen, I think last time I spoke to him, said he wanted to focus on music a little
Mm-hmm.
bit more.
Yeah.
He said that initially he entered crypto because he was enthusiastic about the digitalization of
Mm.
ownership of stuff like music
Mm-hmm.
and he said kind of got into the DeFi stuff a bit more than I initially thought.
Mm.
Initially, it was as a musician he was interested,
Yeah, yeah.
and now because of the whole bear market thing or the end of the bull run, he felt like, hey, let me just focus on music a little bit more
Hmm.
lately. But that's not to say that he's unreachable. I mean,
No, no, no.
if you shoot him a message, he will
Yeah,
still
yeah.
reply. Um, but he seems to not have his focus on D5 for now. And Jimmy, I don't know. Uh, you might know that better. But other than that, let's get into the question. I assume you're reading it as well.
Hmm.
How would you
Yeah.
approach this
I guess
answering?
we'll start with voting strategy. I guess voting strategy. I guess that's for Glacier. Right now, we've essentially the DAO always continually locks and votes for the same pairs. Like we haven't changed anything there. But we're not. We haven't bribed either. We haven't incentivized other people to vote either at this stage in time. I guess the main reason is because we've kind of been thinking about exactly what we're going to do with those LPs and how we do a migration. And we'd, I guess, I mean, wouldn't want people to just jump into an LP for you know a quick hype, you know a quick like just to get the glacier emissions, then dump them and then move on essentially. But I think we should actually get back to some sort of bribing to at least reward the people that do still have LP, because right now they are not getting much. But part of the migration is planned. We'll have the ability to add in or ability to exchange LP as well for some sort of bonus as well, because that's we can use that liquidity. We can consolidate all that liquidity essentially and use it for the Vini token essentially. Um, so that's another thing, and we also had contact with, I forgot the name, but it was I don't know what's happening with that. We need to follow up on that. But there's an auto compounder that they take a portion of the Glacier rewards. I'm pretty sure they use it to rebribe every week as part of the auto compounding. So you just stick it in the auto compounder and it just does it for you, um, or something like that. I've forgotten exactly, but we had it planned, and I'm not sure what happened with that. To be honest, I haven't heard from them in like a week, so I need to follow up on that. But it would be good to do
Right.
some sort of bribing. I think the DAO will get back to some small bribing. The problem is that we don't have a lot of Grape. We've actually run out of Grape because the casino is essentially negative, and we have to top up Grape for the casino for the casino payouts, which is all well and good. But it's like unusual for a casino to be kind of losing money. you know? So I don't know.
I think that's a free spins there.
I mean, that is the reason. But
Hmm.
there's some things we can do there too as well. But likely bribing with probably some stables even, which would be better anyway, to be honest, um, for existing LPs that are already in there. The problem is that we're actually the main vintage guy, so I think we want to unstake from there and let other people stake in, which also comes back to the winemaker question here about having, which was a plan from before, which has been kind of difficult to implement, of having the rewards from the Enoteca, like you stake your LP in the Enoteca, and then that contract stakes it in Glacier, and then it earns the Glacier and the Enoteca rewards at the same time, which I think would be really cool. But it's been kind of tricky to implement because we need to track the rewards from the Enoteca and the rewards from Glacier, which are two different reward rates and tokens, and that needs to be done for each user without the user having to kind of restake. I think there may be a way we can do it if I have to talk to Jimmy about it, to be honest. But
Right.
yeah, I think
It's funny. Like it really the way that you're talking is really like, okay, I'm ready to do stuff, but I'm still in the middle of everything, and I'm not really sure what to do first yet. And
that's a lot. Yeah.
that's okay. You've explained. Yeah, you've explained in in the beginning, like hey, you're still basically in Airbnbs, and you're a resident now, but so you're in the middle of moving, and
Mhm.
I can imagine that things are a bit chaotic there. Um,
Yeah.
but just let us know, I suppose, as soon as you've got your visions clear again, and you know where you're at again, where your head's at, and where you want to go. That we'll have another AMA, or maybe not
Oh
even
well,
an AMA, but just a sort of a conference where you're just lining out like what you're gonna do, what you want to do, right?
absolutely. No, I think a week or two. In a week or two, I'll be fully set um, and essentially full time again, and have been able to. Because what I plan on doing is actually doing a proper write up, proper announcement on it, proper write up on it, and then let people read it, digest it, and then do an AMA based on that. And that will include, as I said, like a clearer roadmap for winemaker and a sort of migration plan, as mentioned here, for the Grape ecosystem tokens, and as well what we're doing with Vinium. In the background of Vinium right now, I'll tell you that we've working on kind of making the main UI look a little bit like cleaner rather than kind of futuristic, you could say, like it is now, to kind of make it more, I guess, appeal to a wider market, like not like a degen crowd or like a really tech crowd, but more of a you know everybody crowd essentially, because that's kind of the product idea. It's not
Right.
really a degen thing. It's more of a you have some assets you can borrow against them, which funnily enough is exactly what I'm doing right now. In order to pay rent here or whatever, I'm basically just like I don't want to sell my ETH or my AVAX or whatever because I'm still long on those
You're
assets.
borrowing against it.
I'm borrowing against it, so
Mm.
I at a safe amount, obviously, but so then I can still hold on to the upside of those assets, but I can access stablecoin capital right now. So that's like a real use case for this product that I'm actually doing right now.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. Yeah, that's really nice. I think Finium or any Aave fork really has a great way of using it.
mhm.
I've used it myself as well. It's awesome.
Mm,
Um, let's go to the other question that was. It's actually more of a suggestion. I'm gonna
mhm,
read it out just to because
of course.
MacGyver Seventh has taken the trouble of writing it, so let's give him that honor. Hello, thanks for the last AMA. It provided a clear direction for the potential future of Wine 2.0, and you mentioned suggesting ideas to support its progress and potential. Considering that Axgrape was designed to climb steadily, an idea for Wine 2.0 is to generate funds that incentivize Vinny holders and reward Wine 2.0 with blue chip payouts from Vinium suppliers and loans. I think that kind of already is the idea, yes.
Mhm,
My suggestion is to merge both systems as the node holders were paid out in Xgrape previously. By phasing out Grape, Xgrape would also be phased out. Instead, we would combine Xgrape and liquidity pool it with Wine 1.0 to create 2.0. To create Wine 2.0. This would limit the ways to acquire Wine 2.0 to a two-way entry. creating it using Xgrape, which would benefit Grape, and utilizing Wine 1.0 to give hodlers in this bear market an opportunity to see the token appreciate in value again. The second way would be the method explained in the last AMA, where Vinium is used to obtain Vini and then stake to farm Wine 2.0. The idea aims to support the chat farmers' need to utilize Vini while also rewarding holders of Grape and Wine 1.0 without disregarding the progress achieved by the developers and the community over time with the Grape ecosystem as it stands today. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts on this idea. Well, first of all, thank you for thinking it through so
A good
much.
suggestion, yeah.
As I see it as a suggestion, it would kind of mean that you would take the X grape, like if I get it correctly, you take the X grape and then use it as an LP with wine. So you'd have an X grape wine LP, and then you get wine 2.0 for that LP. So basically, the idea here, because he's talking about appreciation, it would mean that if you have wine, you would want to buy X grape to LP it with that wine so as to get your wine 2.0. And if you have X grape, you would want to buy some wine to LP it with your X grape. Thing is, though, if I'm not wrong about this, people could also go the other way. Like, oh, right. Oh, well, so my asset is not really useful without the other part. Then I'm gonna even it by just selling whatever is left. So there's two sides to this, as far as I see it. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting suggestion. LPing an LP with wine as well. I mean, technically, X grape is an LP of an LP as well. But
Yeah,
the
it's Inception. It's
yeah,
one
yeah,
layer of helping.
I like Inception of DeFi stuff. It's cool. The composability of it is cool. The what we need to think about though is what I think what I mentioned in the last AMA is that we technically uh, need an incentive token for Vinium, uh, something to reward people to provide liquidity. It's the same as any other app in DeFi. Every app needs liquidity essentially, and you usually provide some incentive for that liquidity. Whether it's some percentage of fees, but the fees need to be high enough for that actually to make sense. So generally, there's always like a bootstrap stage where there's some token that gets uh, you know rewarded to LPs. And by LPs, I mean someone that even just like someone that provides any liquidity, not like in an LP token. It can just be providing AVAX or BTC to Vinium itself. That's they're providing liquidity to be able to be borrowed. And so we need to incentivize that to be able to for people to actually want to provide liquidity, which then actually provides fees, and then you can kind of rely more on fees. But you kind of need that. You need at least some liquidity first to be able to actually provide those fees as a revenue or as like a reward essentially. So we need some sort of we still need some sort of incentive token for Vinium liquidity providers.
Just to play devil's advocate here, do we really need one? Because the whole point of providing collateral there is that you get a share out of the borrowing, right? The borrowing costs money, and you get a share out of that. So
Yeah, I mean,
the system itself is already rewarding. So why do we need an extra incentive token? Maybe you can expand on that a little bit.
yeah, well, that is true. You do the borrowers do. I mean, the lenders do get a share of the borrow percentage. But there is, essentially a lot of competition here, where
Right.
having just that percentage isn't really enough for people to put money in, and especially if you have people that want to borrow as well, you need the liquidity first for people to be able to borrow. Like it happens on a lot of new perpetuals dexes. where people want to do leverage trading and whatnot, but there's like $3 of liquidity available. So then, how are people actually going to do leverage trading to provide those fees if no one's actually providing liquidity? Because it's the same idea, really. It's people, the liquidity providers would earn the fees from the people borrowing, or the people borrowing to leverage trade. But if there's nothing to borrow, uh, then there's no fees. And so you have like Aave and Compound, essentially the first two lending protocols. They did start with token incentives to provide, at least get people interested enough to provide liquidity, introduce them to the
Yeah.
system, introduce them to the ecosystem, the token itself, the project. Build some trust on that. From there. And now Aave doesn't need to do incentives really, because they're the trusted partner. Essentially, they're the trusted lending protocol. They've been able to manage billions of
Yeah.
dollars without problem for years now. So they have
I,
been hacked
yeah.
and whatnot several times. Well, not hacked, but like there have been exploits where people have drained some money because of some tokens have poor factors, poor collateral factors, etc. Even recently, you had the issue with the Curve token after a couple pools on Curve got drained, um,
Yeah. That
and
was a
then
couple of months ago, right? That's not. Yeah.
it was a couple of weeks ago. It was kind of recently.
Oh,
Um,
really? Then I missed it.
it's and then the Curve founder um, had large. Obviously, he's using Curve as or CRV token as collateral to borrow stables, um, and that it kind of led to the point where I think he had like $150 million worth of Curve tokens as collateral, but and that was close to being liquidated. But the problem is that that can't be liquidated because there's not that liquidity doesn't exist. There's maybe like $10 million of Curve liquidity, so that would be very bad
How'd they
for.
solve it?
He started
Yeah.
paying back loans. He did a lot of OTC deals for Curve token to kind of get stables again, to pay back loans,
Right.
and kind of bring his health
So
factor
he
back up.
saved it.
He saved it, but he's well known in the
Yeah.
space, and obviously like the rest of DeFi, like all the big names in DeFi, were willing to kind of help him. And plus, I think he was giving good deals on Curve token too. I think he was giving like 20-30% off OTC deal. So protocols would take that. Like I think Yearn Finance bought a couple mil. I think Justin Sun bought a mil or two. So
Yeah.
uh, this offer wasn't open to us plebs. You needed to have like a couple mil or something to get in it. But you know,
You needed to be interesting.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. But what was I talking about then before? Uh,
You were talking about incentivization and
yes, yeah,
the
okay.
need for it.
Yeah. So I think it is, especially in the early stages of a protocol when it's unknown. Um, it needs some sort of incentive to attract people, to attract new people in. It's like any sort of business you have in the beginning. You kind of give you give products away. It's a marketing thing. You give products away. You give incentives to early users. You give bonuses, etc., to kind of build your name out there and build some trust, uh, and
Yeah.
attract users essentially. So that's a very similar idea for token incentives in the beginning, especially.
Yeah. Yeah. I do get it. I just wanted the thing is, if a system is good, then it kind of doesn't need incentivization. But in the beginning it does. So
Mm.
I do get it. It needs to get known, and then when a lot of people use it, it will perpetuate
Yeah, yeah,
itself.
yeah.
All right. Neat Wine says that someone needs to. he says someone put more monies in Vinium. I don't know if he means that someone just did or someone needs to do it. But you know, money, Vinium, good. Need wine. Thank you.
And good thing with Vinium as well, we're looking over because we're making sure that our liquidation bots are working sweet because this is very important, obviously.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
and as well looking at the contracts, and it seems like as well, which is really good, that there's been other bots that scout the chain, which is exactly what I'm expecting anyway. That scout the chain to look for uh, loans that are bad and then liquidate them as needed. So that's happened several times, which is really good. It means that you know the contracts work perfectly for liquidations for outside bots, and it adds like an extra layer of safety there. Even though we have our own bots, which will run all the time, but which is also good for
Yeah.
us because we can we essentially, when you liquidate, you earn some fees, so we can reroute that as well.
Yeah.
Um, but it's
And by the
good
way,
that
talking about incentivization,
yeah.
sorry, yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna round
No,
up
no,
and
no.
say
I was
like
just looking.
yeah. No, you go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was looking at the Vinium market right now, and the deposit APY for USDT is insane. Has anyone looked at that? Like, if you got a 25% right now
Nice.
APY, a deposit APY for USDT. So if you got some USDT and you want to get something on it, just put it there. I mean, it's doing great. USDC is 12.08.
To
Um,
to lend.
I mean, no, no, that's the deposit
Yeah, yeah,
APY.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Lending is 16 and a half. Yeah.
The borrowing. Yeah.
So I don't know. If someone has money to put in Vinium, they'll get a good return. Just wanted to say that. I'm sorry to have interrupted you on that.
No, no, no.
There's a Neatwine says put more in. Um, Rushi V Rushi 55 says, what are your thoughts on the departure of projects on AVAX to other chains, like OP or Arbitrum, um, Optimum, Optimus Prime? No,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
those. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's kind of expected, to be honest. The layer twos are very hyped now. They're also built on Ethereum, and Ethereum is, essentially the number one for DeFi by far. Um, and anything built on top of Ethereum will kind of inherit that uh, that as well. Whereas, AVAX is technically competing with Ethereum, which is very hard run, especially Ethereum has such a head start and a lot more TVL and whatnot. But at the same time, it also comes down to you know where the money is, and you can see that on Arbitrum and on Optimism, the TVL of those changes is much more than AVAX. That means there's more users. That means there's more money to go around. So teams will naturally gravitate towards where there's actual TVL and actual users. And I think AVAX looks good in TVL in terms of on DeFi Llama, but when you look at where it's coming from, it's like I think it's like 80% of it is literally Wonderland times LP, which you know you can't really count that, to be honest, as TVL. So it's actually much less than what it says there in reality. And it also technically, and LHB will kind of attest to this as well, but the Ava Labs team hasn't really been extremely supportive of new DeFi projects, especially if you're not building on a subnet. If you're building on a subnet, they'll look to help you. Especially, I think the character. I think what they're aiming for is. I think they realize that it's a hard game to play against. Arbitrum and these Ethereum layer twos to compete for DeFi projects. And I think they've decided to pivot and because they had the Avalanche Rush before where they did incentivize these DeFi projects, and that worked reasonably well. Like AVX was pretty hyped back then,
Yeah.
but I think they realized that they can't really compete with Ethereum at its own game, and so they've kind of pivoted towards focusing on their subnets and subnets specifically for institutions and sort of like permission chains for businesses and institutions basically. So you can see that they're making deals with like a Amazon, I'm pretty sure, for like an NFT marketplace, which I'm sure will be on a subnet as well. And we'll have specific Amazon NFTs and whatnot for I don't know, specific things, I guess. And then I think they also partnered with a couple funds and whatnot to build things on subnet specifically, and which will most likely be permissioned. Um, which is all well and good. Like, I'm not against that. It obviously has its use, um, and whatnot. But uh, in other words, what I'm saying is that
Does it mean?
they're not focusing directly on the Avalanche C chain and the apps built on there, and specifically kind of maybe more DeFi, some DeFi, but more institutions. To be honest, I think that's kind of where they're aiming for.
Yeah. Does it mean that you're looking to leave
No,
the AVAX
we won't
chain
leave.
in? No.
We're still,
No.
we're already deployed on AVAX, so we'll stay here anyway. It's
So
just
it's gonna
that,
be there,
yeah, it's going to be
but you're
there.
branching out.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We branch out
Yeah.
to essentially where the teams are more receptive to DeFi on their main chain, and as well as where the more TVL of users are as well.
Yeah. All right. That's pretty clear. What do you feel that you still want to say right now to the audience and to the people who are listening to the recording?
Well, I guess I want to say, like, thanks for still coming to the AMAs. Thanks for your questions. Thanks for still being part of the
Yeah.
community and using the apps we have. We still have actually a reasonable amount of users for winemaker, which is really cool. And obviously Venium is still trucking along really well, even though we haven't really pushed anything. Uh, we still have a very good supportive group of people here, which is really nice to see. And I really thank you guys for that, because it means a lot. It means like that's why you kind of build things so that people can use it. And it's nice that we still
Yeah.
have that tight knit community. And I really am kind of keen to get back to full time into it, because I'm I'm sick of not doing it. Basically, I don't know. I need to start building. That's what I am. I need to. I'm sick of just
Yeah.
like
You need to get back to your
I know.
hobby.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm keen to help you. That's funny too, right? Because we've had a bit of a weird year,
Yeah, yeah,
and I don't know. I've been places. I've been everywhere. Last couple of months, I've been working as a freelance nurse again,
yeah.
just to make sure my budget is on par. As some people know, I've been busy with that project Artsy, but I've left that now for yeah, well, reasons I'll not discuss here. But so that means that soon I'll be traveling again, and I would really like to work together with you again,
Definitely.
as the way that we
Yeah,
did in the
yeah,
beginning, and I'm looking forward to that. To
yeah.
actually just
Likewise.
get some things going again, and to see, yeah, where we can get, what we can do. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that, and I look at that positively, and I do feel that the community here is great. I have not seen, but that might just be me, but I have not seen any other community that sticks around so long um, in a period where there's not a lot to be gained. Because
Mm,
that is basically what's been happening. I mean, there was not a lot to be gained recently in the
hmm
last half year or so, but people were still here, and people were still around, and people were still chatting away, and happy at that. So that means that we have a community that supersedes
mm.
the greed that is so often seen in this area, and I really love that. It really means that we have something extra here,
hmm
and I would love to be able to build again for that community in the capacity that I can do. I mean, you're the main builder, uh, but yeah, I always like giving my ideas and giving you a platform with these AMAs, and you know, doing my part. So
Definitely. I think we work
thanks
well together.
to the yeah, but so thanks to you, but also thanks to the community for
Exactly.
being that, for being a community that's worth it to get back into it. I mean that is special. It's great.
Yeah, exactly.
There's an interesting conversation going on about people want to someone wants to borrow more AVAX, so it needs needs more AVAX in Vinium, stuff like that. And Virashi 55. Um, I believe you could look at bribing in Glacier again. I mean,
Yes, yes.
well, um, uh, as you said you're gonna, gather your bearings, and in a couple of weeks, we're going to have this talk again, or we're going to have a different talk where you're going to explain to us where your
hmm
focus lies, I think,
Yeah, exactly.
and we'll see where we're going. That sounds awesome.
Definitely, definitely. It does. Exciting times ahead. Exactly.
Exciting times ahead. That's a good message for everyone. So thanks, everyone. We'll be seeing you again. We'll be talking to you again. And remember, we're always here to ask questions. If it's me, probably ping me. But if you do ping me, I will respond. uh, but yeah, appreciate. Yeah, thanks, Neat Wine. Appreciate CMA. I appreciate the people here.
Yeah, thanks for joining.
See you next time.
Thanks, everyone.